Black dress with the tights underneath. I got the breath of a last cigarette.
Hey guys, me, Lexi. This is my very first instructional video, and this one is called How to Spot a Liar.
Tongues always pressed to your cheeks while my tongue is on the inside of some.
Avoiding eye contact is another great way to spot if someone's lying to you or not. People who are lying tend to look away, avoid gaze like I'm doing right now. Try to avoid your gaze because either they feel ashamed that they're lying to you and they don't want to look you in the eyes. Like you remember when you were a child and you did something you knew was wrong and you were confronted by your parents, usually you looked away because you were ashamed. Liars, even subconsciously, most of the time feel ashamed, so they'll try their hardest not to look at you when they're talking to you, when they're lying to you, because they don't want you to see that they're ashamed, because they think then you will be able to tell if they're lying, when in fact it's easier to tell if someone is lying because usually they don't want to look you straight in the eye.
Cover your arms, shaking in the fingers with a bottle in your palm, and the best is
Liars often feel awkward when there's a space or a gap in a conversation that they're trying to avoid. Like if you ask your boyfriend where they've been and they're making up a story or they're lying to you, they're going to take a second to think about it so they can come up with something they think is going to fool you. Also, in addition to that, they'll include a lot of details. Liars, typically, they feel the need to recollect small details that don't really matter because they're trying to fill in the spaces and make it more believable. When really, normally, when you're telling the truth, you don't feel the need to recollect small details because, they don't really matter. You don't think they're important. But liars believe these details make their story have more depth. So they're going to think throwing in details they wouldn't usually include will make their story seem more, what's that word? I'll use the easier word, believable. They'll think it makes their story more believable. Listening to the way somebody's talking to you when you think they're lying is a great way to tell if they are lying or not. Usually when somebody's lying to you, their voice will get higher, like that, when they're lying. I'm not sure if there's a scientific reason for it or not. I'm no expert, obviously, but typically that's what it is. Vocal indicators are a great way to tell if somebody's lying to you. If they stutter a lot, if they pause for inordinate amounts of time before they answer your question, usually that means, like I said before, earlier in the video, usually that means they're trying to think of something to tell you, because, when you're telling the truth, usually you automatically know what to say because it's already a memory that you have. But when you're lying, of course, you have to think of a lie. I mean, you can't just make up a lie off the top of your head in a second, So usually they'll take, I say it probably takes them for men it takes about 30 seconds to think of a lie. For women, probably about 15 seconds, because women have more, I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's creativity. It's easier to make things up when you're more creative, and women have more connecting fibers between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of their brain. Interesting fact if you didn't know it. So, usually women can come up with the lie a little bit faster than men, even though we all know men have more practice.
when you know that I trust you.
Liars sometimes get antsy or fidgety because they feel awkward when they're trying to tell a lie. They'll often mess with their hands, twiddle their thumbs, clock some, things like that. They'll bite their nails if they have that nervous habit of biting their nails. Just all in general, if they are fidgeting with their hands, shifting in their seat, things like that, then usually that means they're lying because, fidgeting is a nervous habit. You fidget when you're nervous for a job interview, things like that. So when people are nervous, which people tend to get nervous when they're lying, they tend to fidget and mess with their hands and stuff. So that's another good way of telling if somebody's lying. But of course, the only real way to tell if somebody is lying to you is to find out the truth yourself. Oftentimes you have to take the person's word for it. Sometimes you can just tell they're lying, but you're never going to know absolutely for sure if they're telling the truth or not, unless you've got a lie detector in your basement or something. But you're not ever really going to for sure know. So really the only thing you can do is just ask the person to be honest with you and to tell you the truth. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not a surefire way of getting somebody to tell the truth, but it's better than just letting them lie to you and letting them believe that they fooled you with their lies.